The Senate will come to order. The Secretary will call the roll.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Birdwell, Blanco, Campbell, Cook, Creighton, Eckhart, Flores, Gutierrez, Hagenbu, Hall, Hancock, Hinojosa Nueces, Hinojosa Hidalgo, Huffman, Hughes, Johnson, King, Colcourse, Menendez, Middleton, Miles, Nichols, Parker, Paxton, Perry, Schwertner, Sparks, West, Zaffarini.
A quorum is present. Please rise for invocation to be delivered by Pastor Ronnie Marriott, First Baptist Church in Richardson.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor and privilege to be chaplain of the day. I'll be here all day if you need me. Right now, if you'd allow me, I'd love to pray over you. Would you pray with me? Lord, we pause to give you thanks. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your care for us. Thank you for allowing us to approach your throne of mercy and grace. Thank you for the privilege to call you Father and the confidence to know that you hear our prayers. We ask your blessing over this session today. May you grant wisdom and discernment to those who will speak and those who will make decisions that impact all of our lives. Thank you for these men and these women whom you've called to lead our state. Thank you for their gifts and abilities, their sacrifice, and their concern for the people who live and who will live in this state. We know that you love all people, from the professional to the marginalized, from the rich to the poor. We also understand that when we show care to all people, we reflect your heart and your character. We ask your blessing on the people and all that takes place in this room today. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Marriott. The Dean of the Senate moves to dispense with the reading of yesterday's journal. Is there objection? The chair hears none. The motion is adopted. Following message from the governor, Secretary will read the message.
To the Senate of the 89th Legislature, regular session, I ask the advice, consent, and confirmation of the Senate with respect to the following appointments. To be members of the Upper Guadalupe River Authority: Richard G. Dick Eastland from Hunt, Thomas W. Weir Labatt III from Kerrville, Jonathan P. Letts Comfort, Jean C. Stacy Ingram. To be members of the Texas State Board of Acupuncture Examiners: Elizabeth Lee Ellie Carlson, Garland; Sherry J. Davidson, Houston; Ahmed G. Sheikh, Frisco. Respectfully submitted, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, to nominations.
Chair lays out the following resolution. The Secretary will read the resolution.
Resolution 187, by Creighton et al., recognizing March 4th, 2025 as Montgomery County Day at the state capitol.
Chair recognizes Senator Creighton on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President, members. Along with Senator Bettencourt and Colcourse, I'm pleased to recognize and welcome our constituents that are here today, our friends from Montgomery County who have traveled to their state capitol in celebration of the many contributions Montgomery County has made to our state over time. Montgomery County is the third county formed under the Republic of Texas. In 1837, the county is officially acknowledged as the birthplace of the Lone Star flag, and it's home to over 47,000 acres of historic Sam Houston National Forest. As residents of Montgomery County, we take pride in our rich Texas heritage. On the Senate floor today, we have some of our local leaders representing Montgomery County. Clint Nichols, representing the Conroe, Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. Ann Wolford, representing the Woodlands Area Chamber of Commerce. Shane Harper, representing the Greater East Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. And Chris Hoffman, representing the Montgomery County Hispanic Chamber. And also Skip Colvin, representing the Greater Magnolia Parkway Chamber of Commerce. I also want to recognize the many guests in the gallery today. We had an incredible delegation come over from Montgomery County to visit and be a part of the legislative process. We have members from Montgomery County who have worked so hard to make this day possible and have greatly contributed to the economic growth of the county and our state. I'd like to acknowledge our many elected officials who are here in the gallery with us today. If you could stand and please be recognized, along with all of our guests from Montgomery County as well. We're also celebrating Montgomery Independent School District's 100th anniversary today in a separate resolution, but they are also here participating in this great celebration of our county being so front and center and recognized and appreciated here in this legislative session. Montgomery School District is a standout district in the state, to say the least, that's balanced incredible growth with excellent student outcomes. Whether you're a Lake Creek Lion or a Montgomery Bear, we're proud of you, and we're proud that you're part of our community. I'm so proud that my kids have both attended Montgomery Public Schools. Joining us in the gallery from Montgomery Independent School District to celebrate this milestone, Superintendent Mark Ruffin, Chief of Staff Justin Marino, Trustees Paul Cameron, Lizzie Ivy, Nate Robb, and Eddie Wynn. Thank you so much for being here so that we can also celebrate that 100th year. With our chamber leaders here on the floor and all of our delegates that are visiting from all over Montgomery County and the businesses represented, Mr. President, members, we're very proud of their involvement in this fast and furious legislative session where we all understand the importance of shining a bright light on the intersection between business and government, and sometimes how that clash there requires advocates to come and tell their story as they stand for their small businesses all over the state, but especially from the economic engine that Montgomery County represents. I appreciate all that you do and those that have traveled. I know we have great events coming up later this afternoon, and all of your hard work back at home to lift up our communities and to allow Montgomery County and its rich heritage to continue to shine bright. We're very thankful for that. Mr. President, unless we have comments and remarks from other members, I would yield at this time for those remarks.
Senator Colcourse, you're recognized on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Creighton, for this resolution in honoring a county that I am so blessed to share with you and Senator Bettencourt. It's truly Montgomery County is such a dynamic area, and it has its different areas, whether it's rich in water resources and it's rich in growth areas and the prestige of the companies that have come to Montgomery County, the homes, the people that call it home, such great people, a lot of history. And those that are coming and moving to Montgomery County are moving there because of the leadership, the local leadership. They want to raise their families in Montgomery County. And so I want y'all to know, and I know we have, Senator Creighton, a lot of our constituents are outside, not able to get in yet because we have a full gallery today. I'm so glad everyone's here to be with us in the Texas Senate. But Samantha Chapa, one of my staffers, she's right outside that door saying we're trying to get in. But this is what I want to say. Thank you for the hard work. Chambers of Commerce, y'all do a great job in representing the businesses and the small businesses all the way to the large businesses and everything that make our communities work. God bless you, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Chair recognizes Senator Bettencourt on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, Mr. President, since you're on the DIOS right now, this is really Montgomery County Row at this point, all right? And because a great county deserves equally great representation, we are always here to help you. But more importantly, Montgomery County, I think you're 750,000 and growing strong at this point, right? Did we pass 800,000 already? We're on the cup right there. And speaking of growth on the chambers, some of the growth is astounding. I think at least two of y'all have got over 1,000 members or nearly 1,000 members. And she lets me hang out in the Woodlands area. That's kind of the southwest part that Chairman Creighton graciously bequeathed, 11 precincts to Senate 7. On history, now he claims he's an 8th generation Texan. Y'all believe him? 8th, right? Say yes, okay. I'm only 6th, okay? And my ancestor Hobdy, they married into the Kelly family. The Kellys were in partnership with George Strake before World War I. They broke up the partnership, and my great-grandfather took the west side of the county, and George Strake's dad took the east side. You can imagine who won and who lost in that deal. But it allowed my mother to go to Houston. My grandmother to go to Houston, where she met an Army sergeant. And for 100 years, I didn't realize of my MoCo roots until I started chatting it up with Senator Creighton, and we found all these connections. But more importantly, you're there to connect all these businesses in the largest suburban county in the state that is growing like wildfire because of all the economic opportunities. And so it's great that you're here on the floor, that we can recognize one of the great engines of the great engine of Texas that makes us the job mecca capital of the country. So thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator Creighton to close on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members and those of our guests that are here, I also wanted to mention that with it being today that we're recognizing Texas Independence Day, I'll have a resolution a little bit later on that. And I'm reading a family letter that came from, my 5 times great-grandfather from Montgomery County that was the chair of the Constitutional Convention at Washington on the Brazos. And that family letter is always a highlight for me to be able to present that. When we see the rest of our friends, invite them into the gallery a little bit later to be a part of that celebration as well. With that, Mr. President, I move adoption.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Chair lays out the following resolution. Secretary, read the resolution.
SR 135 by Nichols and Creighton, recognizing March 3rd and 4th, 2025 as Golden Triangle Days at the state capitol.
Chair recognizes Senator Nichols on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues and guests, I'd like you to join with me and Senator Creighton in welcoming the residents of both Jefferson and Orange County to the Capitol today for Golden Triangle Day. From the discovery of oil, its famous spindle top over 100 years ago, the following explosion of the petrochemical complex in the area, this area, through its significant economic, cultural, and historical contributions, the Golden Triangle has played an essential role in the Texas story. The Sabine Neches Waterway, which supports the ports of Beaumont, Orange, Port Arthur, as well as the Big Thicket Preserve, all continue to make this region of the state so unique and special. And I've also got to make sure that I recognize our higher education. This is the home of Lamar University, where I graduated, as well as Senator Birdwell back there, who also graduated from Lamar. And also recognize Lamar Port Arthur, Lamar Orange, and Lamar Institute. Mr. President, I yield to Senator Creighton for comments.
Chair recognizes Senator Creighton.
Thank you, Mr. President, members, and thank you, Senator Nichols, for bringing this resolution forward on behalf of Golden Triangle Days. They've got an incredible turnout that started coming in yesterday. A very large group today that started with a breakfast at 7 o'clock this morning, and we were excited to be on a panel with them. The history and the heritage of Texas represented in the Golden Triangle is just one to study and marvel. It's a wonderful privilege for me to be part of the legislative delegation and serving with Senator Nichols to represent this incredible area. The Sabine Neches Waterway, the nation's third largest, along with the ports along the Sabine Neches, with the port at Beaumont being the largest military export port in America. Certainly overall in top 5 in tonnage. And as Senator Nichols mentioned about his alma mater, we're so thankful for Lamar University, Lamar State College, Port Arthur, and the Lamar Institute of Technology, and what the higher education footprint in the Golden Triangle does for all of Texas and our workforce. So throughout hurricanes and challenges, the community has shown just incredible resilience in leading efforts to protect not only our community, but our infrastructure and the petrochemical complex. We're so thankful for the leaders that are here today. And Mr. President, I'll yield back to Senator Nichols as we continue to recognize and move towards adoption.
Chair recognizes Senator Birdwell on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, thank you, Senator Nichols, for bringing this. I just want to simply say that I've got a lot of fond memories in Beaumont from 73 to 84 and from 6th grade to graduating from Lamar. Of course, down there every few years doing something, seeing friends, and on occasion paying final respects to people that I've known for many years. So thank you for bringing this resolution. All the things about the Golden Triangle that have both been expressed by both of you, it makes it a fabulous and integral and a very important part of the state to the state of Texas. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members.
Chair recognizes Senator Nichols to close on the resolution.
President, I'd ask all the members of the Golden Triangle to stand up, please. If you're here from the Golden Triangle, please go ahead and just stand up. And I know there's people trying to get in. And members, please give them a warm welcome from the Senate. I move adoption of Resolution 135.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Chair lays out the following resolution. The Secretary will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 200 by Miles et al., recognizing March 4th, 2025 as Texas Southern University Day at the state capitol.
Chair recognizes Senator Miles on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Members, Texas Southern University is located in Senate District 13 in the heart of Third Ward, Texas. Founded in 1927, this HBCU educates more than 8,700 students and offers more than 100 undergraduate and graduate programs. The academic curriculum is organized into 10 colleges and schools that continue to serve the cornerstone in developing the greatest potential in leaders from various socioeconomic cultures and economic backgrounds. Texas Southern is also the home of our very own Barbara Jordan and Mickey Leland, who are named after, the school is named after the School of Public Affairs, which is named after the alumni who served with distinction in this Texas legislature and in Congress. TSU also administers the Texas Legislative Internship Program, which grants students the opportunity to gain valuable experience by serving as interns during the legislative session. For nearly a century, Texas Southern University has played an important role in higher education in the Lone Star State, and its graduates continue to achieve success and make significant contributions in numerous fields. Joining us today, members in the gallery, is TSU President James Crawford. Would you please stand? Chair of the Board of Regents, Brandon Simmons. Miss Texas Southern University, Jackie Edwards Jr. Mr. and Miss TSU, Brianna Turner. Members, please help me in welcoming the delegation of students and faculty and staff and administration from Texas Southern University and to their Texas Senate. Please help me in welcoming members, Texas Southern students and administration to their gallery and Texas Senate. I move adoption for the Senate Resolution 200, commemorating celebration of Texas Southern University.
Chair recognizes Senator West on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question of the author.
Senator Miles, will you yield?
Yes, sir, I yield.
Thank you very much. Senator Miles, can you tell me, what Thurgood Marshall, there's something on the campus called Thurgood Marshall. What is that?
There's a law school, a very prominent law school that's on the campus of Texas Southern. It's named after the great civil rights leader and civil rights attorney named Thurgood Marshall. Yes, sir.
I know I have at least 2 lawyers in my law firm that finished from Thurgood Marshall also. I understand that there are several judges from Harris County and other counties that finished from Thurgood Marshall. Could you kind of
Thurgood
give an idea about that?
Marshall produces a lot of judges from the valley, the lower valley. We have a strong pipeline down in the lower valley. We have a strong pipeline in Houston for a lot of our judges come through. And we even have one of my interns right here who's just graduated and took his bar last week from Thurgood Marshall School of Law.
I have one too, just took his bar last week also, okay?
Yes, sir.
A graduate of Thurgood Marshall. Is there a pharmacy program at at Texas Southern?
Thurgood Marshall has one of the finest pharmacy schools in the state of Texas in the country, producing pharmacists for the last 40 years.
Last 40 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a program down there that deals with training young people to be pilots?
We just recently, with the help of this body, instituted and initiated a aerodynamics department at Texas Southern University that is growing fast. I think we have a fleet of now 10 planes we have, President says.
10 planes.
Which I want to thank this body for helping us get financing and initiating.
Do we need any additional planes?
Do we need some additional planes, President? Yes, we do, sir.
And let's see, I want to go back to Thurgood Marshall. How long has that structure been on the campus?
Many, many years, back when I was in junior high running around the community. So I'm 60 years old, brother.
You're 60 years old?
That building's got to be at least 60 to 70 years old. 1976?
1976. And that famed institution is in need of repair, is that right?
It's in need of major repair, sir. Major repair.
And we're going to be working with our colleagues hopefully to get additional dollars to make sure we make those repairs. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's all the questions I have.
And I want to thank this body for recognizing 2 sessions ago that we had a health and safety problem at Texas Southern University and appropriating an additional $94 million for health and safety on our campus. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Senator Hinojosa of Nueces.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I want to specifically recognize Texas Southern University today. My legislative intern, Alexis Williams, is a current student there and will graduate with her Juris Doctor degree this May. This school is an educational institution that notably accepts a number of students from the University of Texas at the Rio Grande Valley. I'm grateful for everything that Texas Southern University does in the realm of education by creating both qualified and competent leaders in Houston for students all over the state, including the Rio Grande Valley. Thank you for equipping our community with the resources to succeed, and welcome to your state capital. God bless you.
Chair recognizes Senator Miles to close on the resolution.
Mr. President, I move to adopt Senate Resolution 200, commemorating the celebration of Texas Southern University Day at the Capitol.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Chair lays out the following resolution. The secretary will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 199 by Miles et al., recognizing March 4th, 2025 as Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Day at the state capitol.
Chair recognizes Senator Miles on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Members, it is with great honor that I welcome to my brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity to the Texas Senate today. Launched at Cornell University on December 4th, 1906, Alpha Phi Alpha was the first intercollegiate Greek letter fraternity established by African Americans. The fraternity initially served as a study and support group for minority students who faced racial prejudice in both education and socially. The founders, early leaders of the fraternity, succeeded by laying a firm foundation for Alpha Phi Alpha's principles, scholarship, fellowship, good character, and uplifting of the humanity. In the years that followed, Alpha Phi Alpha chapters were formed over other colleges across the nation, placing strong emphasis on academic excellence and its members, and expanded its focus to address the educational, economic, political, and social injustice faced by African Americans and people of color around the world. Whether it's sitting at a lunch counter, fighting for equal rights, or protesting the unjust shooting of an unarmed black man in the streets of any country, of this country or any other country, Alpha men are always on the forefront of social and political change and are the epitome, of black excellence here in America and abroad. Members, joining us in the gallery today is our Southwest Region Vice President, Jermaine Netherly. Would you please stand? Texas District Director, Darnell Robinson. Alpha Phi Alpha Day Coordinator, Ecobi Carey. And Alpha Day Co-Chair, my man from Waller County, Commissioner from Waller County, Kendrick D. Jones. Members, please join me in welcoming these brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha to the Texas State Senate today.
Chair recognizes Senator Miles to close.
Mr. President, I honorably move to adopt Senate Resolution 199 commemorating the celebration of Alpha Phi Alpha Day at State Capitol in 2025. Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. Resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes Senator Huffman to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. It's an honor to introduce the Doctor of the Day, Dr. Jorge Duchicella from the city of Weimar in Colorado County, Texas. Dr. Duchicella received his doctorate of medicine from the University of Wisconsin's Medical School and completed his family medicine residency at UTMB in Galveston. He currently serves as an associate professor of family medicine at UTMB, has helped educate countless doctors and is serving patients throughout Texas and the world. Members, Mr. President, please help me welcome my constituent, Dr. Jorge Duchicella, to the Senate floor. Thank you.
Senator Campbell. Chair recognizes Senator Dean Zaffirini for recognition.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President and members, it is my pleasure to recognize a delegation of leaders from St. Edward's University at our state capitol. St. Edward's University is a growing university. It launched its nursing program last fall and recently celebrated the grand opening of the School of Health Sciences. Joining us in the gallery today, in the East Gallery, actually they're in the North Gallery now, and I'd ask them to stand as I call their names, are the University President, Dr. Monsi Fuentes, the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, Jeronimo Rodriguez, the Provost, Dr. Marianne Rod Pedrosa, Dr. Donna Buke, Interim Dean of the School of Health Sciences, Dr. Mary Zatnick, Founding Occupational Therapy Director, Liz Johnson, Senior Director of External Affairs, Dr. Jessica Naiman, Assistant Professor of Nursing, and Elizabeth Putoff, President of the Independent Colleges and Universities of Texas. Please be welcome to the Texas Senate, and members, please join them in extending that welcome. Thank you for your service. Go ahead. Mr. President and members, it is also my pleasure to recognize a delegation of leaders from communities and schools of Laredo. They have joined us at the state capitol and are visiting all of the offices. With us, and please stand as I call your name, are Elizabeth Velasquez, Board President, Joe Jackson III, Board Treasurer, Rosina Silva, Board Member, Claudia Dovalina Guzman, Executive Director, and 2 Directors of Programs, Sandy Salinas and Julieta Salinas. Welcome to the Texas Senate. Thank you, Mr. President and members.
Members, we have a memorial resolution. The chair lays out the following resolution. Secretary, read the resolution. If the members can go to your desk for a memorial resolution.
Senate Resolution 191 by Hinojosa of Nueces. Whereas the life of a beloved television host drew to a close with the passing of Johnny Canales on June 12, 2024, at the age of 81. And whereas Juan Jose Canales was born on August 23, 1942, in the town of General Trevino in northern Mexico. His family moved to Robstown when he was an infant, and he went on to graduate from Robstown High School and to serve for 2.5 years with the U.S. Army 3rd Infantry Division in Germany. And whereas at the conclusion of his military duty, Mr. Canales returned to Texas and embarked on his career in media and entertainment. He formed a band, Johnny Canales y su Orchestra, and joined the staff of a Spanish-language radio station as a DJ. He ultimately set his sights on television, and in 1983, the first episode of The Johnny Canales Show debuted on KRIS in Corpus Christi. And whereas featuring an eclectic variety format, the bilingual program became especially renowned for its musical guests who were introduced with Mr. Canales' trademark catchphrase, "You got it, take it away." Through the years, the show featured such well-known acts as La Mafia, La Sombra, Ramon Ayala, and Selena, whose appearance in 1985, when she was still a teenager, was one of her first TV performances. Initially broadcast locally, The Johnny Canales Show gained national acclaim after being picked up by Univision. And whereas in all his endeavors, Mr. Canales enjoyed the love and support of his wife, Nora, who joined him in hosting El Nuevo Show de Johnny y Nora Canales, beginning in 2014. The couple raised 2 daughters, Nora Celeste Canales and Miroslava Canales. And whereas through his talent, charisma, and vision, Johnny Canales became an influential champion of Hispanic culture and earned a special place in the hearts of innumerable people, and his legacy will continue to resonate for years to come. Now therefore be it resolved that the Senate of the 89th Texas Legislature hereby pay tribute to the life of Johnny Canales and extend sincere condolences to his family, to his many friends, and to all who mourn his passing. And be it further resolved that when the Texas Senate adjourns this day, it do so in memory of Johnny Canales.
Chair recognizes Senator Hinojosa of Nueces on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, today I have the distinct honor of presenting a resolution in memory of a true Tejano legend, Johnny Canales, a man whose voice, charisma, and passion for music brought joy to millions and whose impact on the Tejano and Latino communities will never be forgotten. For so many of us, the Johnny Canales Show was more than just a television show. It was a cultural institution. Every Sunday, families across Texas and beyond gathered around their televisions to watch Johnny showcase the best in Tejano and regional Mexican music. His stage introduced us to rising stars, including a young Selena Quintanilla from Corpus Christi, giving them a platform long before mainstream audiences took notice. He celebrated our music, our traditions, and our people with a pride that was infectious. But beyond the bright lights and the music, Johnny Canales' heart was always with his family. His wife, Nora Canales, was not only his partner in life, but also his partner in the success of his show. Together, they created something truly special, and their love for each other was evident in everything they did. Together with their daughters, Celeste and Miroslava, these ladies continue to keep his memory alive, and I'm proud to introduce them here on the Senate floor. Personally, I can say that the Johnny Canales Show was a staple in my home growing up, just as it was for so many others. Watching Johnny on TV was a part of our Sunday routine, and I know I'm not alone in that sentiment. His energy, enthusiasm, his unforgettable catchphrases became part of our lives. Today, as we honor his life and contributions here in our state capitol, we recognize that his legacy is not just in the music he promoted, but in the lives he touched and the cultural pride he instilled in all of us. And so in the spirit of the great Johnny Canales, I will close with the words that defined his legacy and will forever echo in our hearts. You got it. Take it away. And I think there's some other members who may want to add to the resolution. I want to
Chair recognizes Senator Hinojosa of Hidalgo.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Adam Hinojosa, for bringing this memorial resolution honoring Johnny Canales. Johnny Canales was really an icon, not only for South Texas, but also for the whole state of Texas and the country. He was a trailblazer when it came to Tejano music. And some of the young stars that he brought into his program on Sunday mornings became superstars after the exposure. But Johnny Canales was not just an entertainer. He was very much involved with the community, very much involved in leadership roles, mentoring younger people that wanted to go into music. He was just an unbelievable person. He was always in the Rio Grande Valley, Coastal Bend area, all over the state of Texas. And Nora, his wife, was always by his sides, always by his sides. His family came first, but his commitment to creating music, to creating a music culture, to bring real life into our families, to real appreciation of our culture, Johnny Canales was it. And you're right. His favorite saying, you got it. Take it away. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members.
Chair recognizes Dean Zaffarini on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Senator Hinojosa, for this very important resolution and for your lovely words along with those of Senator Hinojosa from the Valley. It is also my pleasure and honor to rise to pay tribute to Johnny Canales, who was so much more than an entertainer, so much more than a leader. He was a role model for Texans of all ages. I remember when I first ran for the Senate in 1986, wherever I went, there was Johnny. And what impressed me most about him was how loved he was, how admired he was, and how he took the time to encourage boys and girls and to tell them not to be like him, but to be better than he was. He was a motivator, he was an example, and he was an inspiration to Texans of all ages, not only to boys and girls. I will miss him because I truly loved him, as so many people do, so many people always will, and he will live forever in our hearts and in our minds. We will treasure his music, his charisma, and his legacy, but above all, he was loved so very much because he was so loving. Thank you, Mr. President and members.
Chair recognizes Senator Hinojosa of Nueces to close on the resolution.
Thank you, Senators, for your kind words, and in memory of the great Johnny Canales, I move adoption.
Would all those in favor of the resolution please rise? The resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes Senator Middleton for recognition.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, on behalf of myself and Senator Alvarado, today in the gallery we have a number of guests we'd like to recognize. With us we have some outstanding students from the Pasadena area, Senate District 11. I believe that's where they're all from. We have Nathaniel Belleville and Willard Joyner from Dobie High School. And from South Houston High School, we have Braden Mayberry. If y'all could please stand up for us here today. And they're joining from Pasadena ISD to your Texas capital. So thank you for making the trip up here today. You are the future leaders of this great state. And Pasadena, of course, is with BAHEP today. That's Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership. And along with the students, I'm happy to recognize Superintendent of Pasadena ISD, Deanne Powell. Deanne, if you could please stand up. Deanne's actually retiring this year. We're going to miss you. And then also Deputy Superintendent Troy McCarley is there with us as well. So thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming to your state capital. And it's exciting to see how Pasadena ISD is educating the future leaders of this great state. So may God bless you. God bless Texas.
Chair lays out the following resolution. The Secretary will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 197 by Hall, commemorating the 75th anniversary of the Christian Life Commission.
Chair recognizes Senator Hall on the recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I rise today with honor to welcome a distinguished group of individuals to the Senate floor. My special guest, the Baptist General Convention of Texas, as they celebrate their 75th anniversary of their Christian Life Commission. Founded in 1886, the Baptist General Convention of Texas emerged from the merging of several regional Baptist conventions. Today it stands as the largest and oldest Baptist convention in our state, encompassing more than 5,300 congregations and over 2 million Texans who are part of this faith community. Since its establishment in 1950, the Christian Life Commission has served as a guiding force for Baptists, helping them apply their Christian faith to address the modern challenges of our society. Through the 2024 CLC Hunger Offering, the Commission has raised enough to assist over 1 million individuals, providing nearly 8 million meals to those in need. The Commission also plays an instrumental role in supporting local pregnancy centers through their initiatives, like Psalm 139, addressing human trafficking, champion community justice, and advancing community health programs. It is a privilege to be joined today by Dr. Ronnie Merritt, the President of the Baptist General Convention of Texas and the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Richardson, located in my district. Dr. Merritt, thank you for your invitation this morning and for the outstanding service that you and the Christian Life Commission provide to our state. And I ask that all of you rise and join me in welcoming Dr. Merritt and the members of the Baptist General Convention of Texas to their state capital.
Chair recognizes Senator Hall to close on the resolution.
I so close, Mr. President.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Chair lays out the following resolution. The Secretary will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 44 by Blanco, recognizing April 9th, 2025 as Education and Sharing Day at the state capitol.
Chair recognizes Senator Blanco on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, today I'm honored to welcome members of Chabad Lubavitch of Texas as we recognize Education and Sharing Day. Education and Sharing Day is a day that reminds us of the deeper purpose of learning to fill minds, to shape hearts, and to build stronger communities. For over 4 decades, every U.S. president has proclaimed this day in honor of Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, a man whose teaching and leadership touched millions of lives. Rabbi Schneerson believed that education should be more about just academics. He saw a way to empower individuals, uplifting communities, and bringing people together through kindness and through shared values. Through Chabad Lubavitch movement, he built thousands of schools, ensuring that children around the world had access to an education and nurtured both their intellect and their character. His message was simple but powerful. One act of goodness and one moment of kindness can change the world. The idea continues to guide Chabad community today. In El Paso, Chabad Lubavitch has been an anchor in our community, serving as a place of worship for our Jewish community and providing a welcoming space for worship, celebrating traditions, or supporting those in need. Their presence makes our community stronger. And I want to thank personally the members of Chabad Lubavitch who traveled hundreds of miles to be here today with us. Can you please stand in the gallery? With that, it's my privilege to welcome you to the Texas Senate as we recognize today as Education and Sharing Day. April 9th as Education and Sharing Day. Thank you very much for coming to your Texas Senate.
Chair recognizes Senator Hinojosa of Hidalgo.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Blanco, for bringing forth Senate Resolution 44. I'm also very honored that in the audience up in the gallery, I have rabbis from Corpus Christi. That's Rabbi Naftali Schumacher of Coastal Bend Shabbat. Thanks for being here. Now, they just celebrated the 10th anniversary in the Coastal Bend area, and they're located right by the coast, looking at the beautiful Gulf and the water. And they are very much involved in the community. And every year, they celebrate this special occasion with a parade in Corpus Christi of over 50, 60 cars. People participate, honoring this special day. And he lives with his wife at the Shabbat home in Corpus Christi. Now, I apologize, I'm going to place his wife, Nana. They both live there and welcome all Jewish people and all people of all faiths to come and join them and visit. Again, thank you, Senator Blanco, for this resolution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Senator Cook on the resolution.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the resolution. I just want to recognize a few Houstonians who are here today. Eliezer Lazaroff from Chabad Aishel House, Moishe Traxler from Chabad Outreach, and Bezalel Marinovsky and Mendy Marinovsky from Chabad of Houston. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Senator Menendez on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to support Senator Blanco on Senate Resolution 44 and thank him for recognizing April 9th as Education and Sharing Day. I also like to welcome my good friend, Rabbi Haim Block. Rabbi, it's good to see you as always, and all of the rabbis who have joined us here today. Thank you for what you're doing, and in particular, thank you for reminding us how important education and sharing is. So may God continue to bless you, and we appreciate your presence, and we look forward to seeing y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator Blanco to close.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move adoption of Senate Resolution 44.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Chair lays out the following resolution. The secretary read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 180 by Cook et al., recognizing March 4th, 2025 as Nurse Day at the state capitol.
Chair recognizes Senator Cook on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, today we are joined by nurses who care for our communities across Texas every single day, and we are proud to recognize Nurse Day at the Capitol. Just so y'all know, I left my nursing tennis shoes on for this resolution, so if you're able, nurses, please stand up in the gallery so that we can celebrate you. Yes, go ahead and clap. This is such an honor to speak on this resolution, and I am just so proud of my nursing degree. Even making it to the Texas Senate, my nursing degree and my nursing license are my proudest accomplishments, and I know y'all know why. I know the passion, the heart, and the resilience that it takes to care for others. But whenever we talk about the resilience of communities, it is important to talk about how badly they need our support as well. And I know how hard the job is and that nurses are struggling through long hours and often with mental health crisis, some that is taking lives. And a group stopped by my office today and shared that the nursing suicide rate is at an alarming high and is actually, unfortunately, increasing. We are losing nurses to the toll of this profession. And I'm so grateful for the steps that this chamber has taken over the last few sessions to support nurses. Nurses take care of Texas, so we must listen to them and take care of them too. It's one thing to show up for our patients in a hospital room or clinic, but it is another thing to take the time on your day off to show up here at your state capitol and advocate for our profession and better health care. And that's what today is about. To my fellow nurses in the gallery, thank you. Thank you for your service to keep our community safe and healthy. Members, I ask for your support of Senate Resolution 180 to honor the work and dedication of nurses across Texas. Thank you, and I yield for any other comments.
Chair recognizes Senator Campbell on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, welcome all of us nurses, and I say us because I'm an RN. I have my master's from Texas Women's University in nursing. Yes. Our work as a nurse is important, and even though I'm a doctor, I keep my nursing license current because you just never know when you're going to need a nurse. But like any good doctor will tell you, whatever the nurse says is good. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Senator Paxton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Cook, for bringing forth this resolution. And I also want to welcome all of the nurses to the Texas Capitol today. My oldest daughter, Abby, is a nurse, a pediatric RN, and I'm pretty sure she's watching me live stream, and so I wanted to make sure I said something because I'm really thankful for her, and I'm really thankful for you. When Abby was born, I wouldn't have guessed what she was going to do one day, that she would be an intelligence officer in the Air Force and a nurse. But I did know very early on that she would be in charge of stuff. And so that served her really well in both of those professions. I also just want to speak to the blessing it is to having a nurse in the family. And I am so thankful for that. And I know that everyone in this room, probably everyone on the floor too, knows that it is a real treasure to have a family member that's a nurse. You help us. You help others. You help tirelessly and selflessly. And we are so thankful for you. Thanks for coming to the Texas Capitol today.
Chair recognizes Senator Birdwell on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Cook, for bringing this. I don't have the degrees that Senator Campbell or Senator Cook has, but I do have a doctorate in being a patient. Having been to the operating room 55 times in my life, I've had a nurse take care of just about every specialty of practicing, but my favorite are the nurse anesthetists, because while the doctor may order the shot of Dilaudid, it's the nurse that's going to deliver it. So I won't bore you with all the particulars of my own personal situation, but just know that you're appreciated. There are 4 ladies in my life, Dottie, Minnie, Joni, and Juanita, that played a central role, not just in my day-to-day recovery, but in my survival. And so I wanted the nurses in the building to know how much you're appreciated no matter what your specialty is. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator Menendez on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to thank Senator Cook for Senate Resolution 180, but in particular, I want to thank all the nurses and the nursing students who came up today. We had a great meeting in my office. I don't know how many people it was, but the most people we've had all year. And it was great. And it was so good to hear from the students and hear from the teachers and hear from all the practitioners in the room. And, you know, I grew up with a nurse. My mom was a nurse. And you know, that's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, you know, they can help you heal. On the other hand, you don't go to the doctor unless you're like on death's bed. And to see the traditional nurse uniform that I see up here with the white little hat and the one piece reminds me of my dad and what he said he fell for my mom when he saw her in her nurse uniform. So, but my parents have such a great respect. My aunts and so many relatives were nurses, and I just want to thank you for what you do. Also, as an advocate for my wife and as a patient, the doctors come in for a few minutes, but the nurse is the one who helps heal the patient. And you're the ones who help them turn over, get out of there sooner and quicker, and make sure that they're on to recovery. So for all the nurses, thank you for what you do. It's not easy. We need to work and make sure that simple mistakes and error is not criminalized. We need to make sure that hospitals have the resources to have the right ratios. You shouldn't have more patients. It's not fair to you and it's not fair to the patient. So thank you for coming today. Please make sure you get to visit with the legislators and or their staffs. And Mr. President and members, thank you for indulging me in this very important resolution. Thank you, Senator.
Chair recognizes Senator Miles on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, want to thank Senator Cook for inviting you all here today. I have a fondness for nurses due to the fact that I spent a lot of time with you all in my sickness. And for all the nurses that have helped me along the way, I say to them, to you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're going to be working again along with my colleagues to make sure that we get y'all some help because we know that y'all are at a big shortage. We're going to be working with TWU to get you some backup and some help so that you can continue to do the great job that y'all do. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Senator Cook.
Chair recognizes Senator Hall on the resolution.
I too thank you, Senator Cook, for bringing this. Now, while I haven't spent as much time personally with nurses as my good friend Senator Birdwell has, I am very familiar with it because my younger sister, Virginia Lynn McNulty, after graduating from the University of Florida, spent a year in a MASH unit in Vietnam, a chore that I hope none of you would ever have to experience, but I have no doubt that if you were called to do so, you would. And that was something special to me that she served and then later on came back to serve in her community. So I have a real appreciation for what you do, from my experience and from what I know she went through. Thank you for being here, and again, thank you for bringing this forward. God bless each one of you.
Chair recognizes Senator Bettencourt on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Cook, it is obvious that everyone on this floor has had a positive experience, in some cases like 100 times, like with nurses, and so I would move to add all senators' names to the resolution.
Is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion is adopted. Chair recognizes Senator Cook to close.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all of my colleagues. And I just want to share that the moment that I knew I wanted to be a nurse, I was 12 years old, in the nurse's office, frankly escaping a class that I hated in junior high, and saw the nurse have to respond when a kid got injured on the playground. And I thought, I want to be that person. I want to be the person you call when you need help, when there's an emergency. So thank y'all. for being that person in your communities and your facilities that someone calls when they need help. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted.
The chair lays out the following resolution. The secretary will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 171 by Perry, recognizing March 4th, 2025 as Cotton Day at the state capitol.
Chair recognizes Senator Perry on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Today we recognize Cotton Day at the Capitol. Cotton is more than a crop. It's a legacy that has shaped Texas for over 150 years. Cotton has deep roots in Texas and was the backbone of growth for many decades. Cotton was introduced by Spanish missionaries and flourished between 1850 and 1900. Cotton spurred economic expansion, bringing railroads, new communities, and diverse populations from the Deep South and Europe. In 1977, the 75th legislature officially named cotton the state's fiber and fabric. Texas leads the way with cotton from its Robert S. Munger's automated ginning process in 1884 to the nation's first high-volume instrument cotton classifying office in Lamesa in 1980. Texas has always set the cotton standards. Today, Texas is the nation's top cotton producer, producing nearly 40% of the U.S. cotton supply, supporting thousands of farmers, ginners, and textile workers. Cotton provides livelihood for thousands of Texans, particularly in rural communities. Texas farmers are leading in sustainable cotton farming, ensuring the industry thrives for future generations. I'd like to recognize in the gallery today, on March 4, 2025, is Cotton Day at the Capitol, and extend my best wishes to those visiting delegations. Please stand up and give a wave and let people know. These are the heart of agriculture and the hub of the South Plains. You know, Texas talks a lot about gambling and wanting to bring gambling. I will tell you, farmers represent the ultimate gamble. They throw some seed in the ground every year. They pray that the rain and the sun and the heat will do them at the right times. And then they just hope for a market that will actually pay for the cost of producing it. They're men of faith. It is an industry that has built Texas and the South Plains specifically. And we thank you for your contribution to the Texas economy. Have a good day. See y'all out on the stairs.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none. Resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes Senator Flores for a recognition.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, it's a great honor to have the folks from my hometown of Pleasanton, Texas, and Atascosa County be here present with us at their capital. So Pleasanton, members, was founded in 1858. It was a crossroads for the cattle trade and of course, agriculture and peanuts and all being within, about 30, right south of San Antonio. And there's the descendants that live there in Pleasanton and that were direct descendants from those, the Huizar family, for example, that built the missions are there. Their relatives there in Pleasanton from the Esparza who fought on both sides of the Alamo, and their descendants are there. So Live Oaks and Friendly Folks is the same for my hometown, and it's also known as the birthplace of the cowboy. So Mr. President and members, please join me in welcoming our community leaders to their state capitol. We have our mayor, J.R. Gallegos. You all please stand, so wherever you're at. Mayor Pro Tem Joey Macon, Councilwoman Harmony Rattery, Councilman Zach Pavelik, Councilwoman Lillian Cashmer, Councilman Brandon Hicks, City Manager Johnny Huizar, City Secretary Andres Aguirre, City Finance Director Raquel Navarro, and City Attorney Bobby Maldonado. Members, please welcome them to our Senate.
Chair lays out the following resolution. The Secretary will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 198 by Eckhart, recognizing March of 2025 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Chair recognizes Senator Eckhart on the resolution.
Thank you so much. Members, I rise today to recognize the Texas Society of Gastroenterology and Endoscopy, TSGE, on their Legislative Advocacy Day. They're right up here in the southwest corner of the gallery. TSGE represents physicians and healthcare professionals who are dedicated to the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of digestive diseases, including colorectal cancer. We've had a lot of healthcare professionals in the gallery today. Our healthcare for every Texan is so important. These specialists work tirelessly to improve patient outcomes, advance medical research, and ensure access to high-quality gastrointestinal care all across Texas. And it is especially fitting that we recognize TSGE today because March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, a time to make sure that we are, the importance of screening and early detection and prevention. Make sure you get your screening appointments together. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, yet it is also one of the most preventable cancers when detected early through routine screenings. So get those screenings. Texas continues to make progress in increasing access to screenings, but there is still work to do to ensure that every Texan, no matter where they live, no matter what zip code, no matter what part of the state of Texas, in those underserved communities, have the opportunity to detect and prevent this disease and the terrible consequences to their families. Today, the members of TSGE are here at the Capitol advocating for policies that support that patient access to life-saving screenings, strengthen the healthcare workforce, and advance innovations in gastroenterology. Their work is critical to ensuring that Texas remains a leader in digestive health and cancer prevention. I encourage my colleagues to take a moment to visit with these dedicated physicians and learn more about how we can support their efforts to improve healthcare across our state. And I would invite them to stand up and for us all to acknowledge them and their tremendous work. Thank you so much.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none. Resolution is adopted.
Thank you so much, members, and thank you so much for your care of every Texan.
Members, we have a memorial resolution. The chair lays out the following resolution. The secretary will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 188 by West, Whereas the Senate of the State of Texas joins the people of Tarrant County in mourning the loss of the Honorable L. Clifford Davis, who died February 15, 2025, at the age of 100. And whereas born October 12, 1924, and raised amidst the Great Depression and Jim Crow segregation in Wilton, Arkansas, L. Clifford Davis dedicated his life to fighting for civil rights and ensuring justice for all. As a young man, he moved to Little Rock with his older siblings to attend high school, and he went on to earn a bachelor's and master's degree before pursuing his ambition to study law. And whereas Mr. Davis was accepted to Howard University School of Law, but due to Howard's expense, he attended the University of Arkansas Law School under conditions of complete segregation. Although he would complete his law degree at Howard University, he paved the way for other black students to enter graduate programs in Arkansas, and he returned to his home state to begin his law practice. And whereas using Brown v. Board of Education as a foundation, Mr. Davis fought to desegregate schools in Arkansas, and in 1954, he passed the Texas bar exam and became one of the few black attorneys working in Fort Worth. His efforts resulted in the integration of the Mansfield and Fort Worth school districts. In 1977, he organized the Fort Worth Black Bar Association. And whereas Judge Davis became the first appointed and elected black district court judge in Tarrant County, which he served from 1983 until 1988. He presided over the first drug diversion court in Tarrant County and spent 3 decades as a visiting judge in North Texas before returning to practice law. And whereas during his 75 years as a licensed attorney, Mr. Davis garnered many local, state, and national accolades for his contributions to his community and to the legal field, including the prestigious Blackstone Award from the Tarrant County Bar Association and an honorary Doctorate of Law degree from the University of Arkansas. A legal association and a Fort Worth Elementary School were named in his honor. And whereas above all, Mr. Davis found much fulfillment in his role as a husband to his late wife, Ethel, for more than 50 years, and as a loving father to his daughters, Avis and Karen. He was a devoted member of St. Andrew's United Methodist Church. His enthusiasm for mentoring lawyers and judges, providing pro bono services, and encouraging young people in his community to pursue higher education contributed to his legacy of community service and advancing justice. And whereas a man of integrity, courage, and generosity, L. Clifford Davis's extraordinary contributions to civil rights will long be remembered by our nation and by the people of the Lone Star State. His remarkable life, his outstanding achievements, and his dedication to serving others are a source of inspiration to many, and his memory will be forever treasured by his loved ones and by all who were privileged to share in his life. Now therefore be it resolved that the Senate of the State of Texas, 89th Legislature, hereby extends sincere condolences to the bereaved family of L. Clifford Davis, and be it further resolved that when the Senate adjourns this day, it do so in memory of Judge Davis.
Chair recognizes Senator West to speak on the memorial resolution.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members. L. Clifford Davis died at the age of 100 years, 4 months, and 17 days, I believe that's what it was, Phil. And he was a mentor to many of us as attorneys. I recall meeting him when I used to work for the Community Action Agency, a nonprofit organization that had its offices in the Stop 6 area of Fort Worth, Phil. That's when I met him, because he and other attorneys would provide pro bono legal services to people that didn't have the money in order to get consultation with attorneys. 100 years old, 4 months, 17 days. When I think about him and some of the opportunities, Senator Miles, I had to sit down with him, being the Omega man that he was, just kind of listen to some of the stories that he would talk about, some of his legal triumphs and some of his legal defeats, and the importance of civil rights in this country. What he told us and it continues to ring in my ears and be a part of my, I guess you could say, principles that I use in order to interact with people from different ethnic groups and also interact with you here on the Senate floor and the legislative body and its leadership. He said, we need to make certain we're developing relationships and partnerships based on interests, not based on the color of one's skin, but develop partnerships based on interests, common interests. And it still rings in my ear, and that's what I attempt to do on this floor in my life each and every day. He will be remembered by people in Tarrant County, Texas, and also this country. So I would have been, I'd be remiss if I didn't stop just this moment to say thank you to a man who lived, God allowed to live on this earth for 100 years, 4 months and 17 days, L. Clifford Davis. So I'd move that SR 188 be adopted, Mr. President.
Would all those in favor of the resolution please rise? The resolution is adopted. Thank you, Senator West. The chair lays out the following resolutions. The secretary will read the resolutions.
SR 173 by Hughes, SR 179 by King, SR 181 by Gutierrez, SR 182 by Gutierrez, SR 183 by Gutierrez, SR 184 by Zaffarini, SR 186 by Creighton, SR 189 by West, SR 192 by Eckhart, SR 195 by Johnson, SR 196 by Johnson and West, SR 201 by Miles et al., SR 204 by Johnson et al., SR 205 by Flores, SCR 21 by Hughes.
Members, this is a voice vote. All in favor say aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The resolutions are adopted. Members, if you could take your seats, we have a very important resolution. The chair lays out the following resolution. The secretary will read the resolution.
SR 185 by Creighton, commemorating Texas Independence Day 2025.
Members, again, if you take your seats, please, and the chair recognizes Senator Creighton on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, although Texas Independence Day fell on Sunday this year, its significance resonates just as powerfully today, and it should be recognized. On March 2nd, 1836, a group of brave Texans gathered at Washington on the Brazos near current-day Brenham and declared our independence, forging a republic built on the principles of liberty, self-governance, and unyielding determination. Nearly 2 centuries later, Texas remains a beacon of freedom and opportunity for the world, not just for our citizens. As members of this Senate, we are guardians of that legacy. In our duty to defend the principles our forebears fought for, strong borders, economic freedom, and the right of Texans to shape our own destiny, may we always lead with the courage and conviction that demands those freedoms. I also want to take the opportunity, members, to read a letter from my family that I read every so often on Independence Day. Family members that fought in the Texas Revolution, but particularly from Colonel Martin Palmer, who chaired the Constitutional Convention at Washington on the Brazos in the drafting of the Texas Constitution. This letter is written by Colonel Palmer from Montgomery County, who chaired the committee to draft the Constitution, and at this location at Washington on the Brazos, while the Alamo was under siege, he sent this to his wife in Montgomery County in case he did not survive. This was sent to my 5 times great-grandmother, and it was published in the New Orleans True American newspaper on the 15th of March, 1836, even though the letter was written days before. This is to the editor of the True American newspaper. Sir, and to my grandmother, sir, I send a copy of the letter received this morning by express from Texas in haste. It's from the committee room, Washington, Texas, March 6, 1836. Dear wife, I am well and we are getting along very well. We have 3 or 4 committees who are preparing a constitution, and we will soon have it ready. I shall be at home in 10 or 15 days, God willing, and we have alarming news continually from the West. Frank Johnson's division is all killed, but 5, it is supposed. We saw 2 shot begging for quarters. Dr. Grant, with a company of men, is supposed to all be slain. Travis's last express states San Antonio was strongly besieged. It is much feared that Travis and company are all massacred. As dispatches have been due from that place for 3 days, and none have arrived here yet. The frontiers are breaking up. Gonzales must be sacked and its inhabitants murdered and defiled unless they get immediate aid. The last accounts, the Mexican army were to a considerable number between Gonzales and San Antonio. Fanning is at La Bahia with about 500 men and in daily expectation of a visit from Santa Ana. Texas has been declared free and independent, but unless we have a general turnout and every man lay a helping hand, we are lost. General Santa Ana and his soldiers are now on our borders, and the declaration of our freedom, unless it is sealed with blood, is of no force. I say again that nothing will save Texas but a general turnout of every man. You all know my views with regard to our condition. I have given you the facts. Judge for yourselves. I wish a copy of this letter sent immediately to Captain Bailey Anderson and Colonel S.A. Lublett and publicly read in St. Augustine. Travis closes his last expresses with these words, "Help, oh my country." Signed, Colonel Martin Palmer, to the Committee of Vigilance and Safety, St. Augustine, Texas. Mr. President, I move adoption of the resolution.
Members, we all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. Some stand taller, just as the author of this resolution and his great ancestor who wrote this letter. I would ask that we all, oh, wait a minute, we have some lights that have just come up. So Senator Bettencourt, for what purpose? Or Senator Middleton, for what purpose, if you'd like to go first? One of you go.
I just want to make sure to move that all members' names be added to this resolution.
Members, their objection, hearing none, so ordered. Senator Betancourt, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to just recognize this is a great reading, especially for your family, because I think your third great-grandfather, or is it fifth? Okay, sorry. He's been here a long time. It's hard for me to keep track. And more importantly, what you read is really what happened. And I love the closing at St. Augustine, because that's where my third great-grandfather, I guess this means the Creightons do faster generations than the Hobby Kelly Betancourts, okay, who actually brought a company down from St. Augustine, and they got to San Jacinto at 10 a.m. It was just the day after the battle, okay? And so places that we take for granted now, okay, are all part of what was serious Texas history back then. So thanks for reading this. Man.
Members, in honor of Texas's independence, would you all rise, showing your support for this resolution? All in favor? No objections? The resolution is adopted. Senator Birdwell moves that all remarks on this resolution be reduced to writing. Is there any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. Members, the President's desk is clear. Are there any announcements? Seeing none, members, we have a memorial recognition. Chair recognizes the Dean of the Senate for a highly privileged motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President and members, before we adjourn, I yield to Senator Miles for a memorial recognition.
Members.
Senator Miles, you're recognized.
Thank you. Members, Houston lost a giant in civil rights movement and a visionary community leader with the passing of Reverend William A. Lawson on May 14, 2024. He was known as Houston's pastor. It is very fitting that we honor Texas Southern University today, along with Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity in the Senate today, because Reverend Lawson had ties to both organizations. He was a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha, and in 1962, while serving as the director of the Baptist Student Union at Texas Southern University, Reverend Lawson established the Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church and served as pastor for 42 years. Under his leadership, the church became the center for students' engagement in nonviolent protests against discrimination. He befriended a man by the name of Dr. Martin Luther King and invited him to speak at the church, and he later chartered the Houston chapter of Dr. King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference. In the midst of upheaval and desegregation that was happening across the nation, slipping through the back doors of white-only Rice Hotel, he met with Houston's business leaders to discuss the city's economic future and lead to decision to take down all of the white and colored signs in public facilities, quietly ending Jim Crow in the city of Houston. For over half a century, Reverend Lawson was part of a Three Amigos with the late Archbishop Joseph Arenza and the late Rabbi Samuel Karff. Together, they tackled many of the city's major issues, including homelessness, racism, inequality, and even creating the Public Defender's Office. Reverend Lawson was known to help build bridges between powerful, and powerless. As a champion for social justice and community service, Reverend Lawson joined his wife of 61 years, Audrey Lawson, who preceded him in death. He is survived by his 3 daughters, Melanie, Cheryl, and Roxanne, and his granddaughters, Robin and Raven, and many grandchildren. Reverend Lawson was more than just my pastor. He was the father of the village, the grandfather of the community, the big poopah who you had to go to if you wanted to do something positive in our community. He was the one we ran to when the community had problems, when Houston had problems, when Texas had problems, when our country had problems. He was a quiet, gentle giant, a spiritual man, a man of God, a spiritual leader, a mentor, and a huge inspiration in my life. As we adjourn today, I request that we do so in memory of Reverend Dr. William Alexander Lawson of the Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. Thank you, Ma'am Dean. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Alvarado, for what purpose?
To offer some comments on the resolution.
You're recognized.
Senator Miles, thank you for bringing this resolution. I can't add to much of what you said about Reverend Lawson. He was a friend, a mentor to many of us, whether it was going and asking for support, running for office, or tackling policy issues, especially when it came to race relations. And I'm glad that you mentioned the 3 amigos. Where else would you have a reverend, a Catholic priest, and a rabbi all working together on many issues? And I especially appreciated his friendship, Senator Betancourt, with Archbishop Fiorenza. Those two had such a strong bond, and they really brought our 2 communities together. I got to know Reverend Lawson during my time working in the Lee Brown administration. And when there were big issues that came to fruition, in order to get ahead of some of maybe the turbulence or the unintended consequences that would come out of a policy or a vote, we would meet. We met at his house. We met at various community centers to try to de-escalate things before they started. Sometimes I think we could use a little of that today. But he was an icon, not just in Houston and in Texas, but in the nation with his work with Reverend Martin Luther King and so many other trailblazers. And of course, his daughter Melanie Lawson, who was one of the longest standing TV anchors in Houston, also has made her place in history. Thank you for bringing this, and we look forward to continuing to share the history and his knowledge with the rest of the state. Thank you.
Senator Betancourt, for what purpose?
To add my voice to the resolution. Senator Miles, thank you for bringing this. Reverend Lawson was simply a unique person, okay, in Houston's history. As I would refer to him as a positive problem solver. That's always how he acted with me. I can remember as a young tax assessor, Senator Alvarado, there was a debate at City Hall, and I think we had managed to help get a bill passed here that would keep taxes on leased cars from being personal property taxes. And the mayor was convinced that this was wrong, and I can remember Reverend Lawson's comment. It says, if the tax assessor speaks, you better listen to him. And I have always listened to him because those programs that he used so well with Archbishop Fiorenza, the 3 amigos, were really a combination of faith, humor, and community service all rolled into one program. It was really awesome when all 3 of them got together. So, and I just want to give a special shout out to Melanie, who is a Houston treasure in her own right, and an important living generational member of the Lawson family now. So with that, I just want to add my voice to this memorial resolution. It's great when you realize that somebody like Reverend Lawson was there for everybody, because he didn't suffer, fools gladly as Archbishop Fiorenza didn't, but he was a lot more quiet about it. But he would listen to any Republican or Democrat that would come in with a problem. And I remember that distinctly, and meeting him more than once at the Baptist Wheeler Church. So thank you, Senator Miles.
Dean Zaffarini, you're recognized to close on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President and members, I move that the Senate adjourn until 11 a.m. Wednesday, March 5th, in memory of Reverend Dr. William A. Lawson, constituent of Senator Miles, Johnny Canales, constituent of Senator Adam Hinojosa, and the Honorable L. Clifford Davis, constituent of Senator West. Thank you, Mr. President.
Members, is there any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. Members, the Senate stands adjourned until 11 a.m. Wednesday, March 5th.